So I think, Dan, what I've gained so much from your program is, and again, it sounds very simplistic, not having to reinvent the wheel. You've helped me focus on the things that are effective, find out, identify the things that are effective, and then how to implement those things. If I'd have known, as busy as I've gotten, if I'd have known 15 or 16 years ago what I know now, I would have hooked up with somebody like Dan very early on, very early on. It would have saved me a lot of spinning wheels, I think.
And that's when I met Dan. And I remember very vividly our first call. We had our initial call, and I hung up from that call thinking, gee, I hope he takes me on as a client. I will be very fortunate if he takes me on as a client. And he did, and I am. Because I think Anna mentioned the system, and that's what's so important. It's things that somewhere in the dark recesses of our mind, we intellectually know we need to be doing. But what Dan does is shines the light in that dark corner and brings that all to a focus. And he's very systematic.
I finally found performance laws and got the program, got the system, got the method to start thinking strategically about my target and who I need to contact, and identifying those people and identifying how to reach them, and then doing it, and then following up on doing it. All these things that are part of the performance law system has made enormous difference.
I think that Dan is a fit for a lot of different types of people. Is the structure of Dan's program is different from anything I've ever encountered.
It's quite challenging to cultivate new relationships, but you quickly had opportunities. You had, I think you were saying that you had something like 13 to 15 opportunities just after a number of weeks of putting your full focus on this. And some of those opportunities have also resulted in direct business now.
Yeah, so it really is being top of mind. So you have to constantly be top of mind with your network.
I decided to send out, after talking with you, and the best approach to send out a targeted email. And it wasn't a huge list. I sent that one week, and the next week or two, I now have 5 cases. Yeah. So I'm really slammed right now because I'm at my CFO clients during the day, and then I'm working on these cases at night.
What ended up happening with our work was that you made that initial effort and got business immediately from it. So then you got incredibly busy with everything that was going on. But I guess that's the way it is. Sometimes you get a little bit more than you want to.
Yeah, well, it's fine.
Once you get into a certain groove, a lot of the mechanics of the program are fairly automatic. Like, I know what I have to do every morning or every day, whatever, and I just do it. I don't have to pause and think about it and wonder if I want to reach out to this person or not. I just do it. It's just done. It's done.
That's the big thing.
You've made it once. It's just done.
Yeah.
And so you can move from the task completion aspect of things that really tends to capture your entire mind most of the time, but you are able to move away from that task completion focus and then just focus on now the relationship comes. The task is done. The relationship is what happens now, and ultimately it matters more.
When it comes to the business development activities, you're not doing everything yourself. You're doing the key parts, but you're also getting help, right?
Yeah, I am getting help. But part of it is that you need to know how to do it yourself in order to be able to delegate it.
Yeah.
And so this was easy enough for me to learn well so that I could ask somebody what it was that I needed help with. I think that it helps that I can break it into pieces. And then it's all about consistency, I think. So we develop a system that works to maintain that consistency. And like you said, I mean, it's all about implementation.
As I started getting into your program, it became very clear to me that it is so well orchestrated that there were parts and pieces of it that I thought, I can really, these key components to kind of build and grow, I can teach this very easily to someone. So I have I actually now have a freelancer who works with me and does those things for me. And it's been a game changer. Is if there's anyone thinking, wow, how am I going to handle all of this extra stuff? Once you learn it, you're going to see that you can delegate and delegate very easily and delegate so many pieces of it.
The group calls are good because I think it's helpful to talk with colleagues, what works, what's not working, or hey, this is coming up, but also the supports. I've enjoyed it. It's made me think again, that hard accountability. It's been more of the, well, Tina, you said you wanted to expand this part of your business. Where are you on this?
Is what I call the 3 C's for Dan. You get great coaching one-on-one, you get great collaboration and camaraderie with the others in our group that we interact with. And then the last one is you kind of help us build a little more confidence and when we dust those cobwebs off. So yes, 100% I would recommend working with Dan.
These are really great tools, and that's what I needed. For whatever field or profession relies on these personal connections, these are really great tools that really sort of take the guesswork out of the marketing, which I greatly appreciate.
Right, but I really like the fact that Dan has his own target market, and I really enjoyed that, and I found that very beneficial because I knew he understood what I was talking about. So I found that great. And then of course, fine tuning how I approach my clients and moving forward from there. I found that the biggest advantage in working with Dan.
What you've done since I first came into the program several months ago is now you have that school platform. So now it's like, it's not just the program, but then you're in this community and then we have calls. And then this ties into another thing that's great, the accessibility to you, but it's like, it's like, but if we need a question answered or asked or go into the community and being like, hey, I'm having issues with this, and having the community. So you get all of that input on how to basically kind of build your business. So the new platform with the school platform, the mentorship, like the accessibility to the community, to you, and then having that very organized, structured program.
Have I gotten more business? Yes, without question. To give you an idea, I did more in the first 6 months of this year than I did in the 12 months before. And the big difference was the coaching that I received. I mean, if you look at everything I was doing and what I wasn't doing, when I started doing the coaching, all of a sudden I began to see an increase, and it's exploded. It's growing and I'm getting more clients. I continue to expand my brand with that. So I'm starting to face the pleasant challenge now of how do I work those practices together now, because one's really taking off. And so I'm starting to have the pleasant problem, Dan, of having too much business, which is a good thing, and whether I should expand for other reasons. So yes, would I recommend the coaching? Absolutely. But you have to do the work. And if you're willing to discipline yourself, if you're willing to put yourself in that regimen so that you are going to follow these techniques, you will succeed. Oh yeah. So no, I strongly, I strongly recommend the program.